Good evening. The story you are about to hear is entirely make-believe. Again, this is not real and is entirely fictional. Do not be scared. The zombie apocalypse has not started yet. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, especially dead or actual events, is purely coincidental. Enjoy the show.
Good morning. This is your National Morning Update from Central News Now. Let's start with weather across the country. Sunny and dry for most of the West Coast with highs in the low 80s in San Diego and Los Angeles. Cooler temperatures moving into the Midwest today with scattered storms expected across parts of Missouri and Illinois. East Coast commuters in D.C. and Baltimore should expect heavy delays following flash flooding overnight. Stay off the roads if you can. Now over to Daniel Hart with updates on this morning's top headlines. Daniel?
Thanks, Megan. We're following reports out of Minneapolis this morning where a police officer was attacked during a routine welfare check just after 4 a.m. local time. According to a department spokesperson, the officer responded to a call regarding a man behaving erratically in a downtown alleyway. The suspect reportedly lunged at the officer and bit him multiple times before backup arrived. Details are still coming in, but the attacker was described as unusually strong and unresponsive to commands. Both the officer and the suspect are currently in stable condition at Hennepin County Medical Center. Authorities have not released further information at this time. In other news, President Rusk is expected to meet with pharmaceutical leaders in Atlanta later this afternoon to discuss ongoing infrastructure investments. This comes after yesterday's surprise cancellation of his scheduled appearance at the Renewable Energy Summit in Houston. No official reason has been given for the last-minute change. Meanwhile, several major airlines reported technical issues overnight, resulting in scattered delays along the East Coast. FAA officials say they're looking into it, though there's no indication of coordinated activity. That's the latest from Network 7. We'll continue monitoring the situation in Minneapolis and bring you updates as they come in. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming. Good evening. I'm Daniel Hart, and this is the Central News Now broadcast for Tuesday, July 9th. We begin tonight with a developing story that is raising questions across several U.S. cities. Just hours ago, police departments in 3 different states reported unrelated but eerily similar incidents of sudden and extreme violence. What began as isolated disturbances may be part of a broader, more troubling pattern. Authorities in Cleveland, Ohio, confirmed that 2 individuals were hospitalized following what witnesses described as a frenzied attack inside a convenience store. Surveillance footage, which has not yet been made public, reportedly shows a man entering the store and then lunging at another customer, biting him repeatedly. Police have not released the suspect's name. However, they did confirm he was unresponsive when taken into custody and exhibited signs of extreme delirium. Toxicology is pending. Similar incidents were reported earlier today in Henderson, Nevada and Ashburn, Georgia, each involving violent outbursts, physical attacks, and, disturbingly, biting. We now go live to Central News correspondent Megan Lee, who's outside a police precinct in Henderson. Megan?
Thanks, Daniel. I'm standing outside the 6th District Precinct in Henderson, where investigators are trying to make sense of an incident that left 2 civilians and 1 officer injured. Authorities say a man, possibly under the influence, wandered into traffic near South Valley Parkway just after 2 p.m. When officers arrived, he refused all commands and then charged at them, knocking 1 deputy to the ground. The man reportedly bit the deputy on the forearm before backup arrived. Bystanders say he didn't speak, didn't scream, just moaned. One witness who asked not to be identified said the man's face was, quote, mangled and his eyes were glassy, like he wasn't even there. The suspect was eventually restrained and taken to Henderson General. We've received unconfirmed reports that he later died in the ER after suffering a massive seizure. Henderson police are calling this an isolated event, but they are not ruling out connections to other similar attacks nationwide. Back to you, Daniel.
Thank you, Megan. These incidents, while rare, appear to be escalating. Social media users have begun sharing video clips of what they claim are similar confrontations in cities like Fargo, Jacksonville, and Trenton. Please remember, these clips are unverified. Authorities urge caution in spreading misinformation, especially during an active investigation. We now turn to health correspondent Dr. Elaine Monroe with insight on what could be causing these strange behaviors.
Thanks, Daniel. While we still don't have a definitive explanation, there are some early theories. Cases like these, violent outbursts, hallucinations, uncontrollable aggression, are sometimes associated with certain synthetic drugs. Known examples include flakka or bath salts, which have caused episodes of psychosis in the past. However, initial reports suggest that these individuals may not have tested positive for any known narcotic. That raises new concerns, particularly if a pathogen or environmental contaminant is at play. The CDC has not issued a public alert at this time, but I've been told they are monitoring the situation closely. I'll continue to provide updates as we learn more. Back to you, Daniel.
Thank you, Dr. Monroe. We're getting some breaking information now. A statement just released by the National Guard confirms that a small tactical team has been deployed to assist with containment efforts in Reading, Pennsylvania. That follows reports of a disturbance at a long-term care facility there earlier this evening. Details are limited, but we're hearing chatter from EMS scanners that multiple staff members were injured. A section of the facility has been evacuated. There is no confirmation yet as to whether this is connected to earlier events, but the timing is troubling. Before we close tonight's broadcast, a reminder to stay calm, remain indoors after dark, and report any suspicious behavior to local authorities. We leave you tonight with this image. Emergency workers in hazmat suits escorting frightened residents from the Sunrise Care Center in Reading. Faces pale, arms bandaged, some crying. Whatever is happening, we will find answers. Stay with us. Good night. Good evening. I'm Daniel Hart, and you're watching Central News Now, your trusted source for breaking news. It is 8:03 p.m. Eastern, and we begin tonight with developing reports of what authorities are calling a series of violent, unexplained assaults in multiple cities across the country. The first incident was reported just after 6 p.m. in Reading, Pennsylvania, where witnesses say a man attacked several pedestrians near the downtown transit station. Police initially believed it to be a drug-related episode, but similar reports have since emerged in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, Westport, Connecticut, and most recently, Harlow Park, Illinois. Authorities are urging the public to remain calm as they investigate these events. However, a pattern is beginning to emerge. We go now to Megan Lee, live outside St. Luke's General in Oak Ridge. Megan?
Thank you, Daniel. I'm standing outside St. Luke's General Hospital here in Oak Ridge, where the situation is deteriorating by the minute. Emergency rooms have reached full capacity within the last hour, and dozens of people have been rushed in, most of them suffering from what appear to be violent bite wounds to the face, neck, and arms. Hospital officials initially believed the injuries were the result of isolated assaults, but eyewitnesses now say that several of the patients became erratic, lashing out at medical staff, screaming incoherently, and in some cases, biting anyone who got too close. We've spoken with a nurse who described one patient as blank-eyed, bloodied, and impossible to restrain. She said, quote, "It was like something was using the body, but the person inside was gone." Unconfirmed reports indicate that several hospital workers have been injured. One may have been killed during what authorities are calling a containment breach. Security teams have locked down the emergency wing, and we've just seen a convoy of National Guard vehicles arriving on site within the last 5 minutes. Families are gathering outside, some trying to reach loved ones, others begging for answers, but there are no answers yet, only sirens and screaming. We've also received word, again unconfirmed, that similar incidents are happening at 3 other hospitals in the region. Police scanners have gone nearly silent. It's unclear if that's due to signal failure or something else. This is no longer an isolated medical emergency. Something more is happening, something we don't understand. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Megan. We're receiving increasingly disturbing reports from across the region. The situation appears to be escalating rapidly. Just moments ago, we received confirmation that first responders were attacked while attempting to reach a disabled vehicle on Interstate 41. According to body cam footage from a state trooper, which we've not yet independently verified, the driver was found wandering in traffic, covered in blood, and completely unresponsive to verbal commands. When approached, he lunged at officers, biting one in the neck before being subdued. In Brookvale, an elementary school has been placed on lockdown after multiple students and teachers became violently ill, then reportedly entered a state of frenzied animal-like behavior. One teacher broke a window with her bare hands in an attempt to escape. Children were seen climbing desks and biting others. We're also getting conflicting reports from the Oak Ridge subway line, where passengers describe people clawing at train windows and attacking those nearby. All transit services in and out of the city have now been suspended indefinitely. Cell service remains unreliable, and we've lost contact with 2 of our affiliate stations in Northbridge and Harrow Point. We don't yet know if it's a technical failure or something more serious. Due to rapidly changing conditions and increased security concerns, we've been instructed to begin powering down studio operations. If our signal drops, please remain calm and monitor official emergency channels on radio and government alert systems. Our technicians are working to maintain the broadcast, but if we go dark, we'll do everything we can to return as soon as possible. Please stay safe.
Wake up, people. You think this is normal? You think hospitals overflowing overnight is just a bad flu season? You've got people biting each other in parking lots, nurses barricading ICU wings, cops shooting unarmed citizens because they won't stop moving, and we're supposed to sit here and believe this is just a regional crisis? Bull, this didn't just happen. This was allowed to happen. We've been warning you for years that something like this was coming, not because we're prophets, not because we've got crystal balls, but because the writing was on the damn wall in capital letters and no one wanted to read it. The government ran simulations, Dark Winter, Crimson Contagion, Atlas X, and they all ended the same way: mass civil unrest, medical collapse, and total institutional failure. And what did they do? They buried it in classified briefings, shredded the reports, and told you to wash your hands and trust the system. Trust the system. The same system that told you Epstein hanged himself in a facility designed to prevent suicide. The same system that let corporations buy up emergency stockpiles and ship them offshore for profit. The same system that spent billions on pandemic preparedness, but somehow had zero masks in major cities by day 2. I got footage, real footage of EMTs in Dallas duct taping bite wounds shut because they ran out of gauze. And still, the media's out here pushing isolated incident, random acts of violence, panic-induced hysteria. Give me a break. I've been covering this long enough to know when they're trying to soften the language because they don't want the public asking questions. You want to know the truth? It's not just panic. It's not just psychosis. It's contagion. And if what I'm seeing is even half accurate, it's neurological, it's aggressive, and it's moving fast. People are attacking their own families, not in rage, not in fear, in silence, with blank stares, like they're following some internal calm. And still no word from the White House. No press conference, no emergency protocol, nothing but silence and rumors that Air Force One has already been scrambled west. You think that's a coincidence? They always run first. They'll hide in their bunkers while you're figuring out how to keep your kids from bleeding out on the kitchen floor. I called 3 hospitals in 3 different states and got the same message. All units are at capacity. Please seek care elsewhere. Where exactly is elsewhere? The morgue? Listen to me and listen hard. You need to wake up now. Get out of the cities. Stock water, food, ammo. Yes, ammo. Because if this continues, and it will, law enforcement won't be coming to your door. They'll be running from it. I've got sources in emergency management telling me straight they're burning data, blocking records, and sealing off zones without informing the public. You're not going to get a siren warning, folks. You're not going to get a text alert. The collapse won't be televised. It'll just happen. 1 hour you're watching game shows and scrolling TikTok. The next you're watching your neighbor rip someone's throat out in your driveway. You've got hours, maybe days, before this gets too big to contain. So get ready now, because when the grid goes, when the phones die, and when the lights finally go out, there's not going to be anyone coming to save you.
Hey guys, it's John. I wasn't planning on putting anything out tonight, honestly. I was just trying to make sense of what I'm seeing like the rest of you. But I've been watching this thing unfold, and I can't shake the feeling that we're not being told the whole story. I mean, I've seen chaos before, riots, disasters, even war zones, but this is different. I watched a live stream earlier where this dude covered in blood, eyes wide open, totally blank stare, just walked straight into traffic, got hit, stood back up and ran at the car. And no one helped. People just scattered. And honestly, I get it. There's something primal going on here, something wrong. My DMs are full of people saying hospitals are being overrun, and there are these reports of people biting each other, attacking strangers like animals, and it's not isolated anymore. It's in cities, it's in small towns, it's spreading way too fast. I've got a friend, former SEAL, lives off-grid, and even he texted me saying it's time to get out of populated areas. That's not a dude who scares easy. And look, I'm not saying it's zombies, I don't even know what a zombie is, but something is turning people into something else. Something violent, something that doesn't feel pain, doesn't hesitate, doesn't stop. I saw one guy take 5 taser hits and just scream like it fueled him. I don't care what anyone says, that's not drugs. That's not a virus we've seen before. Maybe it's engineered, maybe it's a mutation. I don't know, but it's not natural. And the government? They're either too slow or too scared to tell us the truth. Power's starting to flicker here. Cell signals are garbage. I had to hook this up on a backup battery just to get it out. So here's what I'll say. Don't wait for help. Get supplies. Stay armed. Don't trust anything that doesn't look right. If someone starts acting weird, if they're twitching, bleeding from the mouth, unresponsive, get away from them. Don't play hero. Don't hesitate. We might be on our own for a while. I'll try to update again if I can. Just be smart, be ready, and stay human.
This is Central News Now. After a brief technical failure, we are back on the air and broadcasting across all available channels. I'm Daniel Hart, and we are continuing our live coverage of what authorities have now officially labeled a national emergency. New reports are streaming in from Denver, Baltimore, and San Antonio, where shelter-in-place orders have been fully enacted by local law enforcement. National Guard activity has more than doubled in these metropolitan regions, with civil air patrols reported overhead in increasing numbers. We are also receiving disturbing, though unverified, reports of emergency responders abandoning their posts. One firehouse in southern Kentucky was found completely empty, gear still on the racks, radios still transmitting. There's been no explanation given as to where those first responders went. Communication lines are beginning to deteriorate. Cell networks are failing across multiple time zones, and internet service in the Northeast is grinding to a near halt. Whether this is the result of system overload, structural damage, or a coordinated shutdown that remains unknown. Just moments ago, we've received official confirmation the President of the United States is about to address the nation. We now take you live to the White House.
My fellow Americans, what we are witnessing is unlike anything we've ever seen before. And I've seen a lot, okay? A lot of things, tremendous things. They told us this sort of thing was impossible, but here we are. We're seeing people, regular people, doing very violent, very disturbing things. Some say they're not even alive anymore. We don't know. We're looking into it. But I can tell you, it's not good. It's very bad. Now, our scientists, the best in the world, by the way, and they all agree with me, they're calling it a new kind of pathogen. Viral, spreads fast, real fast. Some are saying airborne, some are saying bites. But the one thing we know, it changes people quickly, too quickly. We're calling it viral aggression syndrome. That's what the CDC is going with. I came up with it. Sounds strong, fits the situation. We're putting everything we've got into this. The National Guard already on the ground. Tremendous coordination with governors. The best military, the best responders. Tremendous people. Incredible work being done. But, and this is very important, we need you to do your part. We are suspending all inbound flights from affected areas. Travel inside major cities will be restricted. Roadblocks are being set up. We've never done anything like this before, not even close. And let me be very clear, anyone caught spreading this infection, anyone who's violent or out of control, they will be handled immediately, very strongly. This is about safety, your family, your country. We're also asking you to stay inside, just for a little while. Don't go out, don't take risks, don't be a hero. If someone you know, even someone you love, starts acting strangely, you isolate them. You call the hotline. You don't wait. I know this is difficult. I know people are scared. I'm hearing the stories. Kids stuck in schools, hospitals being overwhelmed, power outages. It's happening fast. But we are Americans, and we don't panic. We win. That's what we do. We win. This virus, whatever it is, it thinks it can scare us. It thinks it can tear us apart. But it picked the wrong country. We are going to beat this thing faster than anyone expects. And we're going to do it together. God bless you. God bless our troops. And God bless the United States of America.
That was the President of the United States. If you're just joining us, the President has confirmed what many feared, a fast-spreading, highly aggressive infection now formally designated as viral aggression syndrome. Described as a pathogen that transforms behavior rapidly, possibly within minutes. The President made it clear the situation is escalating. Travel is being restricted, roadblocks are in place, flight bans have been enacted. He urged Americans to stay inside, not to play the hero, and to isolate anyone showing signs of aggression or altered behavior, even family, especially family. That's not something you ever expect to hear from a sitting president, but we are living in a moment that defies all expectations. Central News Now will remain on the air as long as we can. We are receiving scattered reports of media blackouts in the Midwest. If you can still hear this, you are not alone. Take care of each other. We'll be back with more after this.
Hey guys, we're back. I'm here with someone a lot of you know already, former radio host, survival author, and yeah, controversial voice. Thanks for joining us tonight. Look, people are scared out there. We've had the president address the nation. We're seeing lockdowns, troops in the streets, but no one's saying the word zombie yet. What's going on, man?
Glad to be here, and I'm going to say this flat out. What we're watching unfold right now was never about a virus. This isn't new. It isn't spontaneous. This is a controlled burn of society as we know it. The government, the contractors, the alphabet agencies, they've all run simulations on this. They've planned for it, and now they're using it to push the real agenda. Control, fear, compliance, permanent surveillance wrapped in a biological nightmare. This outbreak, it's the match, but the gas has been leaking for years.
All right, but people are going to hear that and say, come on, that's crazy. So I need you to lay this out slow. These reports we're seeing, biting, violence, people getting up after being shot, you're saying that's not just a virus or a drug reaction?
I'm saying it's manufactured. And worse, it might have been field tested already in places we never heard about. There was a program under DARPA in 2015 called Project Helix Fall. I've seen redacted docs, neurological bioweapons designed to override empathy, pain response, and rational thought. You know what that looks like in plain terms? People tearing each other apart without flinching. People who can't be reasoned with, can't be stopped unless they're destroyed. This isn't natural, it's engineered, and now it's out in the open.
Let's say you're right, and I'm not saying you are, but why would someone let this out? Why now?
Because chaos is currency for the people who think they run the world. We've had economic collapse on the horizon, geopolitical instability, climate disasters. All the stress points were primed. This outbreak gives them the perfect storm. Martial law, emergency powers, digital ID rollouts. The population will beg for it if they're scared enough. And once it's in place, it doesn't go away. It becomes the new normal. And that's what they want, a world with no freedom, no dissent, and no escape.
You mentioned something earlier about the president's broadcast. What did you see there that the rest of us missed?
He didn't look like a commander-in-chief. He looked like a man who'd already sealed the blast doors behind him. Sure, it was a live feed, but let's be honest, that wasn't the White House. That was a hardened bunker, probably deep in the Rockies or under Cheyenne Mountain. They had backup comms, no press, no follow-up. I've got a contact in NORAD who confirmed Air Force One diverted hours before the speech. They got him underground fast. You don't do that unless you know, not think, know that the country's about to go dark.
Okay. So say someone's hearing this and they're not completely tuning out. What do you want them to actually do?
Get out of the cities. Now, I don't care how safe your neighborhood feels, it won't feel that way when the lights go out and the infected start moving in packs. Stock up on water, long-life food, medical kits, and weapons. Yes, weapons. You see someone foaming, twitching, blood running down their face, don't ask questions. Don't hesitate, because what's coming through that door isn't your friend or your neighbor anymore. It's something else, and it won't stop until you do.
And you think this is it? The real collapse?
I think we're past the threshold, yeah. The internet will go dark, power grids will fail, and whatever's left of the government will vanish behind barbed wire and biometric scanners. You won't hear a warning siren, just silence, and when that happens, it means the world you knew is gone. You want to survive? Start acting like the world ended yesterday.
Caleb Rook, everyone, agree or disagree? He doesn't hold back. We'll try to keep this feed live as long as we've got signal. Until then, stay smart, stay safe, and maybe stay skeptical.
Good evening. I'm Daniel Hart, and this is Central News Now. It is 8:01 p.m. Eastern, and the nation continues to grapple with the rapidly evolving public health and safety crisis. Over the past 24 hours, violent attacks have surged in nearly 24 cities. Hospitals are overwhelmed, first responders are exhausted, and local authorities are urging residents to remain indoors. Just moments ago, we received unconfirmed reports that a quarantine perimeter has been established around the entire downtown sector of Springfield, Missouri. National Guard convoys have blocked all routes in and out. There is speculation that similar lockdowns are being quietly implemented in parts of Indiana, Georgia, and Utah. We have not been able to independently verify those reports. For the first time tonight, officials are speaking publicly about what they believe may be behind the outbreak. We now go to senior health correspondent Dr. Elaine Monroe.
Daniel, the CDC has confirmed the presence of a previously unidentified viral agent in blood samples collected from several infected individuals. The virus appears to target the brain and nervous system, resulting in erratic behavior, aggression, and near total loss of higher cognitive function. While still early in their analysis, the CDC is calling it viral neurodegenerative pathogen 1, or VNP1. Its origin remains unknown. However, and this is critical, the incubation period is described as alarmingly short. Symptoms in some individuals have developed within minutes of exposure. There are conflicting theories as to how the virus is transmitted. Some believe it is airborne. Others say transmission only occurs through direct contact with infected blood or saliva. And now, Daniel, we are hearing the first unverified reports that some infected individuals are getting back up after being declared dead. A trauma nurse in Lincoln, Nebraska claims to have witnessed a patient whose vitals had ceased suddenly convulse and then lunge at staff. She described it as impossible, like the body rebooted. Again, these are early unconfirmed accounts, but they are consistent with similar stories emerging from emergency rooms across the country. I'll remain on this story and provide updates as they come. Back to you.
Thank you, Dr. Monroe. Moments ago, a private security consultant, formerly with the Department of Homeland Security, told us off camera that the virus may have originated from a biological research facility outside New Haven, Connecticut. We have not confirmed that claim with federal officials. However, satellite imagery does show heavy military presence at that site as of this afternoon. If true, it raises serious questions about containment protocols and whether this outbreak may be the result of a catastrophic failure. For now, government spokespeople are not commenting on the facility or its activities. We're now joined by field reporter Megan Lee, who is stationed outside a refugee triage zone in Harlow Park, Illinois, one of the hardest hit areas. Megan?
Daniel, it's hard to describe what we're seeing here. The entire high school gymnasium has been converted into a field hospital. Rows of cots, patients moaning, some strapped down. Earlier, I watched a man unconscious suddenly begin to convulse, thrashing so violently that it took 4 soldiers to hold him. Seconds later, he bit into one of their arms right through the uniform. We heard a gunshot. Then everything went silent. That soldier was carried away. He wasn't moving. And Daniel, we are hearing something else. Again, not confirmed, but spreading fast. People are saying these infected can only be stopped by trauma to the head. We've now heard it from 3 different soldiers. Shoot the head. I asked one of them if it was true. He just looked at me and nodded. Then he told me to keep moving. I don't know what's happening. I don't think they do either. Back to you.
Thank you, Megan. Please stay safe. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to be clear. We are doing everything we can to bring you verified information, not rumors, but the speed at which this situation is evolving, the lack of clear guidance from federal officials, and the sudden silence from multiple cities is deeply troubling. In the last 90 minutes, we've lost contact with our affiliates in Cheyenne, Montgomery, and Spokane. We don't know why, but we are trying to find out. This is not a movie. This is happening right now. We'll continue this coverage after the break. Don't go anywhere.
All right, so we're live, or something close to it. I don't even know if anyone's hearing this right now. The grid's been offline for hours. We're running off a diesel generator and crossed fingers. No cell service, no internet. This is all going out on emergency broadcast channels and whatever radios are still working. I don't know if this is the end of the world, but if it is, I figured we should at least talk about it. I've got a guest with me tonight, someone who actually knows what the hell is going on. His name is Dr. Thomas Doyle, former virologist with the CDC, advisor to half the alphabet agencies. He's been warning people about biological threats for a long, long time. And now we've got something straight out of a horror movie. Doctor, welcome.
Good evening, John. Assuming, of course, it is still evening where anyone hears this, time has become somewhat distorted in recent days. What you're witnessing, what the world is experiencing, is what I would call a culmination of arrogance, neglect, and a rather disturbing failure to listen. The pathogen currently sweeping the globe is not new, not entirely. It is, in scientific terms, a recombinant strain, part viral, part parasitic, engineered, perhaps, released by accident or design. That I do not know. But what I do know is that it rewrites human biology, fast, violently, irreversibly.
You're saying these people, the ones attacking others, they're not just sick, they're what, gone?
Precisely. You must understand, John, the virus targets the limbic system first. Emotion, impulse control, then the frontal cortex, decision-making, memory. It leaves the brainstem largely intact, which means the body moves, it reacts, it attacks, but it no longer thinks.
So it's not just like rabies. This is worse.
Infinitely worse. Rabies kills the host. This uses the host, reanimates it, sustains it, even in conditions that would normally result in expiration. We've seen individuals, or should I say specimens, continue to function with massive tissue damage, missing limbs, fractured bones, no apparent pain response.
How do you stop it? How do you kill one of these things?
Remove the brain, blunt force, ballistics, fire if necessary. This is not something one subdues. It must be destroyed.
And the spread? How bad is it?
Exponential. Transmission appears to be bloodborne, saliva, aerosol in close quarters, and tragically, through bites. The incubation period? Minutes, sometimes less. There is no cure, no treatment, and containment. Well, I believe we are rather past that point.
Jesus Christ. So what are you saying? That we lost?
Not lost, merely behind. The only path now is survival. Small groups, low visibility, minimal contact. The cities are gone. The systems we trusted, government, infrastructure, medicine, all fractured. What remains is instinct, discipline, and perhaps luck.
Man, I don't know what people are supposed to do with that. I mean, you're basically saying this thing can't be stopped. There's no cavalry.
No, there is no cavalry. And the sooner we accept that, the sooner we begin to survive. This is no longer about saving the world, John. It's about saving your world, whoever's left in it.
All right, and that's Dr. Thomas Doyle. And if you're still hearing this, find shelter, stay low, stay smart, and don't open the door for anyone unless you're sure. We'll try to keep this feed alive as long as we can, but if it goes dark, you'll know why. God help us all.
Good evening. I'm Daniel Hart, and you're watching Central News Now. It is 10 p.m. Eastern, and we continue to follow what is rapidly becoming the most severe national emergency in modern history. Federal officials have just issued a Tier 5 disaster warning, urging citizens in all major metro areas to seek shelter immediately and avoid contact with anyone exhibiting erratic or violent behavior. We are receiving word that a federal quarantine zone has failed outside of Pittsburgh, and multiple escapees may be infected. Local emergency services are overwhelmed, and National Guard units are being rerouted to population centers experiencing large-scale outbreaks. We go now live to Megan Lee, who is stationed outside a secondary triage facility in South Oak Ridge. Megan, can you tell us what you're seeing?
Daniel, the scene here is worse than anything we've witnessed so far. The makeshift medical tents were overflowing within an hour of setup. There are bodies, Daniel, there are bodies in the street that no one is moving. Medical staff are breaking down. People are screaming at the gates, demanding help. And now, my God, Daniel, something's happening at the East checkpoint. And I can see people running. National Guard just opened fire. They're yelling for civilians to get down. Wait, something just jumped the barricade. It's in the crowd. Oh my. Daniel, we need to, oh no, it's coming.
Megan, are you there? Megan, can you hear me? We've lost the feed. We're trying to reestablish the connection now. If anyone on the ground near South Oak Ridge can hear this, please contact emergency channels. I'm being told our tech team is seeing a signal spike on the main uplink. It could be a power surge. Wait. Something's happening outside. I just heard shouting. I think the front entrance has been breached. To our viewers, if you can still hear this, please listen carefully. We are initiating immediate lockdown protocols at the Central News Now studios. All staff are moving to the secure broadcast room. This may be the final television transmission before we switch to emergency radio systems. I repeat, we are under attack. The power is failing. Backup batteries online, but they won't last. If this signal cuts, tune into the official emergency frequency. We'll try to reach you there. God help us.
Now, brothers and sisters, do you feel it in your bones, in the trembling ground and the cold breath of death that sweeps through your towns like a plague of ghosts? This is no disease, this is declaration. The Lord has spoken through silence, through suffering, through the thunder of bones on broken pavement. And still you doubt, still you seek comfort in your reason, your science, your streaming sermons and prosperity prayers. No more. This is the reaping. This is the flood returned in fire. We built towers of arrogance, platforms of pride, temples of lust, and expected heaven to bless them. We drowned the truth in our entertainment, smothered the spirit under our greed. You think this happened overnight? No, this was earned. This was built brick by centuries of sin, and now the foundation is cracked and hell is poured through the seams. The graves are empty. The dead walk not because of infection, but because the soul has fled from the heart of man. We didn't just lose our way. We set fire to the map and laughed while it burned. Now the flames have found us. Now the children hide behind rusted doors while their fathers fall beneath undead teeth. Do you see it now? Do you feel the heat? This is not the wrath of nature. This is the absence of grace. We have made this. We have summoned it with our defiance. The blood runs in the streets not from war but from judgment. And still we beg for answers. You were warned. The good book told you the day would come like a thief in the night, that the dead would rise and the stars would fall and the sound of weeping would drown out the sound of joy. You mocked prophecy. You called it myth, would traded your inheritance for comfort and clicks. And now comfort has fled and only judgment remains. Mothers eat in silence while their children scream in their sleep. Thy fathers weep beside the corpses of sons, and still you will not pray. Still you look for a cure. The cure is not in your hands. It never was. It's in your knees, bent to the floor, soaked in repentance. You want salvation. You want hope. Then burn your idols. Smash your screens and your pride. Fall on your face before the one who still watches, who still waits, even now. But do it fast, brothers and sisters, because the hour is late. The stars have gone dark. The horns are silent, and the dead do not sleep. They hunger. They move. They are the punishment made flesh. They are what remains when a world removes its soul. But if you can still hear this voice, if breath still stirs in your lungs, it's not too late for your spirit. Confess your sins. Cry out to heaven not for survival, but for cleansing. Because your guns won't save you. Your bunkers will collapse. Your governments are dust, but the Lamb still listens. And the gate is still open, just a crack, if you would but run through it. There is no more room in hell, so it has come here. And if we fall now, let us fall on our knees, not on our backs. Let the last breath from our lungs be a prayer, not a scream. Because even as the dead rise, the living still have a choice. So choose.
This is Daniel Hart, broadcasting on emergency frequency 540 AM. Time is 2:14 AM Eastern. If you're hearing this, you're still alive, and so are we. I'm speaking to you from an undisclosed location, a backup facility connected to the old Civil Defense Network. This is not a drill. Central News Now television has gone dark. Our main broadcast tower was compromised just after 10:30 p.m. last night. Most of our staff didn't make it out. I did. A handful of engineers did. Megan Lee did not. We still don't know what happened after her last transmission. But from what we've seen and what we've heard, it's safe to assume the worst. The government has activated the National Emergency Broadcast System. All stations were ordered to switch to radio by midnight. Satellite feeds are intermittent. Cellular networks are down across most of the East Coast. The grid is failing. Power is being rationed to critical sectors. If you have a battery-powered radio, keep it on. If you're near a generator, conserve fuel. Do not leave your shelter unless absolutely necessary. We have confirmation from FEMA and the CDC that the infection is viral in nature. It spreads primarily through saliva and blood bite transmission. Symptoms manifest within minutes. Victims exhibit extreme aggression, loss of speech, and a total absence of higher brain function. They do not respond to pain. They do not retreat. They are not sick. They are lost. Unverified reports suggest that the infected can only be stopped by severe trauma to the brain, headshots, blunt force to the skull. This information has not been officially confirmed. Use it at your own risk. We've been joined now by Dr. Elias Monroe, former virologist with the CDC, speaking with us by satellite phone from a secure medical station in Denver. Doctor, what can you tell us about this virus?
Thank you, Daniel. What we're seeing is a complete neurological hijack. The virus attacks the central nervous system with unprecedented speed. The limbic system is overloaded and all higher reasoning shuts down. Victims revert to primal behavior: fight, hunt, consume. They don't sleep, they don't feel pain, and most disturbing of all, they do not die easily. We believe the virus uses the host's body as a kind of vessel, a carrier, but it's not just infection, it's erasure. The person is gone, only the body remains. In every measurable way, it's as if something else is behind the eyes, not intelligent, not aware, just like instinct wearing skin. We've lost good people trying to study them up close. No one should attempt contact.
What about transmission? Is there any hope of a cure?
Transmission is highly aggressive. We believe it can survive in open air for short periods. Bites are the primary vector. There is no vaccine. No antiviral has shown effectiveness. There may be a brief window, minutes, maybe less, after exposure, where containment is possible. But right now, Daniel, our priority is not saving the infected. It's saving the uninfected. That means evacuation, relocation, isolation. No one is coming to help. There are no field hospitals, no airlifts, only choices.
Understood. Thank you, doctor. Stay safe. If you're hearing this, know that you are not alone. There are others, families, first responders, raw civilians. We don't know how many are left, but there's still a signal. That means there's still hope. We will continue broadcasting every hour on the hour. Between updates, we will rebroadcast government advisories and survivor messages. If you have power, record this frequency. If you have batteries, save them. Stay silent when you can. Stay hidden. Stay alive. This is Daniel Hart. You're listening to the Emergency Broadcast Network. We are still here.
You're listening to what's left of the John Report, broadcasting from an off-grid relay bunker somewhere west of what used to be Colorado Springs. Power's flickering, but we're still running. Every day I get fewer messages on the ham radio. I don't know how many of you are still out there, but if you're hearing this, I've got someone with me today who's got a lot to say. He's not a scientist, he's not military, but he's been calling this thing judgment since day one. Reverend Elijah Boone. Welcome to the show, if you can call it that.
Thank you, John. And let me say this plain for your listeners. If any remain, this is the hand of God. This plague, this walking damnation, it ain't evolution. It ain't climate change. It's divine retribution. We spit in the face of the Lord for generations. We slaughtered the unborn. We worship sex and money. We let our children be raised by screens and sin. And now he has removed his hand. We are naked before the storm. The world was warned. Prophets cried out for decades, but the people laughed, mocked. Well, they ain't laughing now, John.
You're not pulling any punches, Reverend. But I gotta ask, why now? Why this generation? Is it really that much worse than before?
Worse. Brother, we turned sin into entertainment. We let pride parade down our streets while the poor starved in silence. We made influencers our idols. We made virtue a meme, and we silenced the truth tellers. They were shadow banned and buried, and then came the silence, the blackout. No more feeds, no more likes, just moaning in the dark and the cold breath of death against your door. He warned us, John, and now the trumpet's echoing, whether you hear it or not.
I've seen the cities. Denver, Omaha, whole blocks just gone. It was like the bones of a giant rotting in the sun. And you're saying that's righteous punishment?
I am saying it is righteous consequence. Judgment is not cruelty. It is the harvest of rebellion. This nation sowed arrogance and now reaps ruin. And yet, God in his mercy still gives breath. Every survivor is a spark. Every breath is a chance. But they must turn. They must repent. Because this ain't just a virus. It's possession. It's unholy fire walking on 2 feet.
Reverend, you're saying this is supernatural? Like demons?
What else do you call a thing that eats its brother alive? What else but hell's hunger would walk through bullets and keep coming? You seen their eyes, John? Ain't no soul behind them. It's not just biology, it's spiritual rot. And unless we clean house, it'll spread beyond flesh. It'll rot the very land.
So what do we do, Reverend? What can the people out there listening actually do?
Repent. That's the first step. Burn your idols. Fall to your knees. Cry out for mercy, not from the government, not from the military, but from the Lord of hosts. Confess your sins. Forgive your enemies. Bury your pride. And if you survive, live like he's watching, because he is. And the second step, arm yourself, not just with weapons, but with scripture. Because this war is fought in flesh, yes, but it's won in spirit.
You're not wrong about the weapons part. I've had to put down more than one friend. People I knew for years.
The body is dust. The soul is judged. Whether you die screaming or sleeping, your spirit will stand before the throne. That's the final broadcast, John. No static, no signal loss, just truth.
Powerful words. Reverend Boone, thank you for being here. Whether people believe you or not, I hope they listen. I'm going to keep broadcasting until the lights go out. And maybe that's enough. For those still tuning in, stay human. Keep your soul clean. And if you hear anything moving in the dark, you better pray it ain't hungry.
This is Daniel Hart, broadcasting live on emergency frequency 540 AM. We have just received word from the White House. The president is about to deliver a second national address from an undisclosed secure facility. All major news outlets have gone off the air. You are listening to one of the last working signals. We now go live to President Rusk.
My fellow Americans, I want to begin by saying that we are in control. Everything is being handled very strongly. We've moved to a secure location, a beautiful facility, very safe, very advanced, tremendous security. Now look, we've all seen what's happening. It's not great. A lot of people, good people, they didn't see it coming. Nobody did. But we've acted faster than any other nation would have. Much faster. The best teams, incredible people. Most of our major cities are experiencing what the experts are calling full systemic breach. That means the cities are gone, folks. I'm sorry to say it, but we had to make a choice. We sealed the borders. We shut down air travel. We've done more in 48 hours than most leaders do in 8 years. Washington, D.C. is being evacuated. I repeat, we are leaving the capital. We've activated Continuity Protocol Zero. Very powerful protocol. It allows your government to function from a secure mobile location. One of the best kept secrets in the world. We will continue to lead. We are not surrendering. We are not giving up. We're simply repositioning. Retaking the country will require time, strategy, and maybe a few things I can't talk about yet. But trust me, you're going to love them. If you're in a safe zone, stay put. Don't try to reach the cities. If you've been exposed, if someone you know has been infected, do not wait. Do not hesitate. You have to do the hard thing. It's tough, I know, but it's necessary. We are Americans. We don't quit. We don't let fear win. And when the smoke clears, and it will clear, we're going to rebuild. Bigger, better, a huge mistake. We are the United States of America, and we don't go down. We fight. We win. Absolute. And we are going to win this, believe me. God bless you. God bless our military. And God bless the United States of America.
That was President Rusk speaking from an undisclosed bunker. If you're just tuning in, Washington, D.C. is no longer operational. The federal government has officially relocated. We've confirmed the fall of Philadelphia, Houston, St. Louis, and Seattle. Emergency broadcasts from Atlanta have gone silent. National Guard forces are retreating to defensive zones. Coordinated resistance is crumbling. The CDC's final emergency bulletin ended mid-transmission. There has been no word from the Surgeon General. We are operating with limited intel, intermittent signals, and a shrinking perimeter. Power is failing in most of the Northeast. Our backup relay is running on limited fuel. If this signal drops without warning, assume the worst. For those of you listening, stay quiet, stay hidden, and do not approach the infected. If you can hear this, know that others can too. Somewhere out there, someone else is clinging to this same voice in the dark. So hold on. We'll be back with another update at the top of the hour. Until then, this is Daniel Hart. You are not alone. This is Daniel Hart, broadcasting from Central News Now operating under emergency civil frequency 540 AM. Time is 2:17 p.m. Eastern. We've just received a disturbing report from a military relay station in Fort Pickett. Air Force One carrying President Rusk and several top officials may have come under attack during takeoff. I want to be very clear, this information is still unconfirmed. But we have intercepted portions of an air traffic control feed. We're going to play them now. What you're about to hear is raw and may be difficult to process.
We've got hostiles on the ground! They're not responding to warnings! Some are climbing out of the landing gear! They're inside! They're inside the stairway! Weapons discharged! Secure the perimeter! Shots fired inside the engine! Cockpit lockdown initiated! No response from rear cabin! We have internal breach!
That's all we have. The signal was lost just after that last transmission. The White House has not responded to requests for comment. NORAD has gone dark. No new radar data has been shared since the top of the hour. If Air Force One has been compromised, then we are in truly uncharted territory. Let's take a moment now to check in with our field correspondent, Trevor Moore, who's been broadcasting from the edge of the Baltimore quarantine zone. Trevor, are you there?
Daniel, I don't know how long we can stay here. Everything's on fire. The checkpoints are gone. I saw soldiers being pulled down behind the barricades. They didn't even have time to shoot. We tried to get closer to the safe zone, but there is no safe zone. The 81st Airborne, they were here an hour ago. Now they're just gone. People are flooding into side streets. I saw a father throw his daughter over a fence just to get away. I think I saw someone.
We've lost contact with Trevor. Baltimore is presumed fallen. Communications from the East Coast are collapsing faster than expected. Rumors that the CDC facility in Atlanta has been destroyed. Nothing is confirmed, but everything is pointing in one direction. There is no more chain of command. There are no more airlifts. If you're hearing this, you are on your own. This is Daniel Hart. I'll stay on this line as long as I can until the lights go out. This is Daniel Hart, broadcasting from what's left of Central News Now. It is 4:41 a.m. Eastern. We are one of only two stations still transmitting east of the Rockies. Communication with the Western Defense Grid has failed. The National Guard has been disbanded, and as of 2:19 a.m., the United States federal government is no longer operational. Air Force One was confirmed down outside of Dover. No survivors. But we've just received a secure uplink from what remains of the emergency continuity shelter in Colorado. Vice President Nathaniel Cross, acting as Commander-in-Chief, has released a final statement. We play it for you now.
My name is Nathaniel Cross. If you're hearing this, then God help you. The President is dead, so is most of the cabinet. The federal line of succession collapsed sometime around midnight. I'm speaking to you now from an underground bunker, but we won't be here much longer. The infection is not contained. It's not regional. It is everywhere. I repeat, everywhere. Major cities have been overrun. Rural towns are cut off. There are no more flights, no more trains, no reinforcements are coming. We've learned a few things. You need to listen. If you want to survive, do not leave your home. Do not attempt to travel unless absolutely necessary. The infected are not sick. They are not confused. They are dead. Their bodies are moving, but there's nothing left inside. The only way to stop them is to destroy the brain. Shoot it, crush it, burn it if you have to. Don't aim for the chest. Don't try to talk to them. They are not people. They don't feel pain, and they do not stop. I wish I had better news. I wish there was hope. But right now, the only thing you can do is live. Take care of your family. Find a safe place. And wait. We'll be powering down this facility soon. It won't last much longer. America, if you're still out there, survive.
That was Vice President Cross issuing what may be the final statement from any branch of the United States government. We have no further incoming signals. Our generators are failing. The building is surrounded. We've moved the last of the staff into the maintenance sublevels. I don't know how long we'll be able to transmit, but if this is our final sign-off, I want to thank you for listening, for fighting, for hoping. You've stayed with us through every emergency broadcast, every evacuation order, every false hope and grim update. We tried to give you truth, even when the truth was hard. From the first wave in Jakarta to the fall of the eastern seaboard, we have reported every moment, even when it tore us apart. I've lost 3 coworkers tonight, and we couldn't even open the door to carry their bodies out of the studio. I don't know if anyone out there can still hear us. The satellite uplink is degrading fast. I keep thinking I should have tried to get out while I had the chance, before the roads fell, before the airstrips burned, before the power grids blinked out like dying stars. But we stayed. We stayed for the truth. We stayed for you. And if you're still listening, if you're still out there, I want you to know your life matters. Not because someone told you it does, but because you're still choosing to breathe, to think, to resist. You are the resistance now. There is no cavalry. There is no rescue mission. You are what's left. And that makes you more important than any general or president. I don't know what the world will be tomorrow. Maybe ash and echoes. Maybe something new will crawl from the rubble and call itself human. But if any part of us survives, any kindness, any memory, any mercy, it will be because people like you held the line when it mattered most. This is Daniel Hart signing off. Stay alive, stay quiet, and don't open the door.
I don't even know if anyone's still listening. If this gets out, if it makes it to someone, just know I tried. I tried to warn people. I tried to make sense of it. But you can't make sense of the end of the world. Not really. I'm sitting in what used to be a ranger station up in the San Juan Mountains. Solar panels barely work. Water's freezing. The silence out here is different. It's not peaceful. It's empty. I haven't seen another person in days. No movement on the ridge. No voices. And the occasional scream in the distance. You hear that and you remember real quick, it's still out there. Whatever it is, I don't know if we'll ever understand it. The science didn't matter in the end. The politics didn't matter. The tweets, the arguments, all that noise just vanished. And now we're left with what we always had. Fire, food, fear, had. I keep thinking about the guests I had on the show. The people who said the system would collapse. The ones who stockpiled and were called crazy. The ones who talked about resilience and prepping and living off the land. Turns out they were right. All of them. I don't know how much longer I'll last up here. Supplies are low. My leg's not healing right. And the nights are getting colder. But I'm not going down easy. Not like that. Not with my brain still in my skull. If you're hearing this, keep moving. Stay sharp. Don't trust anything that used to have a face. And whatever you do, don't get bit. This is John, signing off. Maybe for the last time. Stay human.
You listen to me right now because I swear to you, they knew this was coming. I've been talking about viral warfare for 2 decades, and now it's here, and they're acting like it's a surprise. This wasn't some rogue flu, some freak mutation. This was planned, this was mapped, this was tested. You really think the same people who built bunkers under Denver didn't have a failsafe for a pathogen like this? And let's talk about the Marburg Z variant. Oh, they love to name it like it's some natural evolution. It's not. That thing doesn't behave like anything in the wild. It's precise, surgical, controlled. You think it's a coincidence? It shuts off empathy, higher reasoning, all the things that make us human. That's not a virus. That's a weapon, engineered to erase civilization one screaming mouth at a time. And let me tell you something else. The so-called collapse, that didn't start with the virus. It started when the globalists shut down your ability to question anything. They locked down the internet, throttled signals, jammed satellites, all under the guise of containing panic. You ever try getting access to raw field data from Jakarta, from Warsaw, from Cleveland? You won't. They buried it. You think the CDC going dark was an accident? You think Vice President Cross's transmission was some heartfelt goodbye? Wake up. They're gone because they got what they needed. They went underground. They took their families, their security teams, their 5-year stashes, and they disappeared. And you're up here with the walking corpses and no food on the shelves? You're being left behind like trash, like test material. I told you this would happen when they started mapping the human genome for medical reasons, but no, you called me a lunatic. I told you when they started militarizing CRISPR tech and building gain-of-function labs in countries with no oversight, but you kept watching your sitcoms. Now look around. Your neighbors are eating each other in the street. Your phones are dying. Your government hasn't spoken in days, and the only thing left between you and the infected is how fast you can run and whether your ammo's dry. Let me ask you something. Why do you think they didn't carpet bomb major cities when the outbreak started? Why do you think they didn't nuke the hot zones? Because they still need the data. They need to watch how we fall apart. Because we are the experiment. This is phase 2. collapse of infrastructure, elimination of the population centers, full asset wipe. When the food's gone and the screaming stops, then they'll rise up again, clean, protected, and in control of whatever's left. I've seen the documents. I've tracked the patents. This was a long game, and we were the pawns. They didn't just create the apocalypse. They orchestrated it. They marketed it. They beta tested it in silence. And now you're seeing the final product, humanity reduced to prey. And don't talk to me about the safe zone in Alaska. That's bait. That's a funnel point. You think they'll let survivors in after everything? You'll walk into those snowy gates and disappear like the rest. No, the only thing left to do is resist, survive, and remember who did this. Remember what they took. Remember that they're still out there watching. This is not about survival anymore. This is about legacy. You teach your kids what really happened. You etch it into stone if you have to. Because someday, we take it back. But not if we stay blind, not if we keep obeying, and not if we keep waiting for the same people who burned the world to come save us from the ashes. Lock and load, stay awake, and never, never forget who the real monsters are.
It doesn't matter anymore. Day 847 since patient 0. My name is Thomas Doyle, former head of the CDC's Infectious Disease Division. If anyone finds this recording, you need to understand something fundamental about what happened to our world. This wasn't some freak accident. This wasn't divine punishment or alien intervention. This was mathematics, pure, inevitable mathematics. You see, we've been dancing on the edge of this precipice for decades. Every pandemic expert, every epidemiologist worth their degree knew it was coming, not zombies specifically. We called it Disease X in our models, the unknown pathogen that would change everything. Look at the numbers we ignored. Global population density increased by 300% in urban centers over the past 50 years. International travel routes expanded exponentially. We had 100,000 flights crossing continents daily. A pathogen could circumnavigate the globe in 18 hours, faster than any quarantine protocol we ever developed. But it wasn't just the logistics, it was us. Human nature itself made this inevitable. The Marburg Z variant, that's what we called it in the early days. It exploited every weakness in our social fabric. Our tribalism, our conspiracy theories, our inability to trust institutions. When the first cases appeared in Jakarta, half the world called it fake news. When it reached Europe, they blamed immigrants. When it hit American shores, we were too busy arguing about treatment protocols to implement them. I remember the emergency session at the WHO, 300 of the world's brightest minds in one room, and we couldn't agree on basic terminology. While we debated whether to call them infected or transformed, the reproduction rate hit 15.7. Do you know what that means? For every infected person, 15 others would follow. Exponential growth doesn't wait for committee decisions. Biological inevitability was elegant in its simplicity. The pathogen attacked the prefrontal cortex while leaving the brainstem intact. Higher cognitive functions died, but basic motor skills and aggressive responses remained. It was like someone engineered the perfect apocalypse virus, except no one engineered it. Evolution did millions of years of trial and error, and it finally found the perfect key to unlock our extinction. But here's what haunts me most. We had the knowledge to prevent this, not the zombie outbreak itself. That was always possible. But the collapse, the complete breakdown of civilization, that was preventable. We had protocols, we had plans. Operation Dark Winter, the global health security agenda, pandemic preparedness frameworks that cost billions to develop. But they all assumed rational actors. They assumed people would follow quarantine orders, that governments would share information, that fear wouldn't override logic. We never planned for the real enemy, ourselves. The virus didn't destroy our supply chains. Panic buying did. The virus didn't collapse our governments. Conspiracy theories and finger-pointing did. The virus didn't turn neighbor against neighbor. That was just Tuesday in America, 2025. I've spent these past 2 years analyzing transmission patterns, studying the societal breakdown, mapping the cascade failures. Every single step fear, but worse. There's something almost poetic about it. Homo sapiens, wise man, undone not by superior predators or cosmic catastrophe, but by our own cognitive limitations. We evolved to handle threats we could see, fight, or flee from. We never evolved to handle exponential growth, statistical probability, or collective action problems. I want to be angry. I want to rage against the politicians who downplayed the threat, the media that sensationalized everything except the science, the people who refused to believe until it was too late. But anger requires the illusion that things could have been different. And maybe they couldn't have been. This is the last entry. The generators are failing, and my supplies are nearly gone. Tomorrow I'll join the few survivors trying to reach the rumored safe zone in Alaska. Not because I believe it exists, but because the alternative is accepting the inevitable right here. I've packed what I can carry, data drives, a half-empty water filter, one final vial of antivirals that won't make a difference. There's frost on the inside of the walls now. The wind sounds different. The screams have stopped. If humanity somehow survives this, remember, we didn't fail because we weren't smart enough. We failed because we were exactly smart enough. Smart enough to build global civilization, but not wise enough to manage it. Smart enough to unlock nature's secrets, but not humble enough to respect them. We thought the rules didn't apply to us. We treated science like opinion and truth like a commodity. We were warned over and over again, and still we walked right into it. And I was part of it. I want whoever finds this to understand. We could have done better. We should have. The mathematics were always there. We just chose not to see them. If there's still time for anyone out there, learn from this. Don't make the next world a reflection of this one. This is Dr. Thomas Doyle, final entry, signing off.